Hi, I'm Martin Roberts. I'm the artist, and this is my exhibition, Landscapes from the Anthropocene. And this is Barbara Lapani. So I asked Barbara Lapani to open my exhibition, and really because I think she's been a big influence on the work and the way I sort of have been thinking about my artwork. And a lot of the things that Barbara writes and talks about, and the Anthropocene has really influenced this work. So this is Barbara.
Hi everyone. Yes, I was delighted to come and open Martin's exhibition this way. And as he knows, my interest in art is really inspired by the songline tradition of Aboriginal culture, where they kept their relationship to country alive through the arts. They sang it, they danced it, they painted it, and they story told it. So I think art continues this extraordinary ancient tradition in Australia to help us connect through all the different layers of meaning that landscape has for us. So you called your exhibition Landscapes from the Anthropocene, and as we know, they're telling us we've moved from the Holocene era, which was very conducive to human life on this planet, to what they're now calling the Anthropocene, which is when human activities completely altering the Earth systems in ways that are quite negative, global warming, environmental destruction. So what does it mean to you to produce artworks called Landscapes from the Anthropocene?
Yeah, so this new era that we're proposing that we've entered, the Anthropocene, where human impact is really degrading the environment. I suppose it's just, this is what is all around us now. This is what we see on the news, on social media. And for me, when I create my artworks, it's kind of like a response to what I see and feel around me. So it's a way for me to process, my feelings and thoughts about all of that stuff.
Okay, well let's begin by looking at some of your works over here. So tell me about this little group of paintings. I noticed the colours are extremely vivid. Can you tell me what inspired this work here?
Well, this one is called Firestorm. So this was really a direct response to the bushfires of the 1920 summer season in Australia. All the works in this exhibition were created over that period of time from November through till April of this year.
The Black Summer.
The Black Summer, yeah, that's right. And at the time we were kind of bombarded with these images of red skies, people caroling on beaches on the coast, and this piece very much was my response to that.
Okay, and what about this one here?
So this one is called Landfill with Monument. And again, all these bright reds and oranges are very much influenced just from all the imagery from the fires. And, I've included like a lot of found plastic materials in the artworks. So like underneath here, there's all these like plastic bottle tops and just piled up on each other, creating this relief of an old landfill and then we've got a sort of monument kind of at the top, which is all melting and disintegrating. In this, there's like collaged logos of all these carbon polluting companies like Billiton and Shell and so on.
Okay, so when we move around, tell me about this particular piece with this extraordinary image you've got here arising out of this. Again, it's the bubbly, rubbish-filled landscape, but what's this image we have here?
So, for the exhibition, I was looking at lots of sort of man-made structures, so kind of brutalist architecture, supersized yachts, planes, all these sort of very man-made objects. and they're like these amazing shapes, and that's where this this mansion comes from, and it's exploding, and it's taking over.
And over here, is this a water image, I take it? Is sort
Yeah,
of how,
so this is
how
like,
we've impacted the ocean?
yeah, so this is the sea, and I've got layers underneath, and in there there's those the little soy fish, plastic fish that you get at the sushi and stuff. So, it's in reference to plastic pollution, really.
Okay, so come over here now to this major work we've got here, dominating the fireplace, and tell me what this work's about.
Well, this one's called the Ochre City, and again, it's, I was looking at architecture, and particularly sort of those new buildings in Dubai,
Like
and
Bangalore,
so on, and
things like that.
Yeah, that's right, and how it sort of dominates the landscape, and it's pumped on, a bit like Bangalore, right on the water, and then again there's all this plastic pollution underneath and so on. And the environment is just really, it's super heated.
Yeah, there's a semi-transparent quality here, so this is where it's rising from dominating the waterscape as well as the landscape.
Yeah.
And surrounded by the burnt images of the
burnt and dried out environment, and like this, like super heated. Everything's like super hot.
And the glitter on it's all part of the glitterati of modern culture.
That's right. Yeah, and sort of plastic, sort of shiny, super flashy.
Celebrity culture.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go around here now and look at this extraordinary face.
Well, this one is called Portrait of Dubai. So,
okay.
I've only ever flown through Dubai, but I guess to me, Dubai is like the epitome of capitalism and like dominating the environment and all of that.
Yeah.
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 And it's like this sort of rather grotesque creature almost in the ocean. Yeah.
Okay, now we come to a much darker work here. So to me, it's sort of like almost we've now moved into shadowscapes of the Anthropocene. Can you explain these works to us?
Yeah, so this is kind of like a little series within the exhibition, I suppose. Again, looking at different, I guess, forms of transport or whatever. So like this one's called Monte Carlo, super rich yachts, and there's inside there's like casino chips. This one's called Militarization. We've got bullets inside. And then this one, that one's called Flyby. So again, it's just the ocean, lots of plastic pollution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to a whole series here which have got a sort of similar quality to them, a lot of black, the embers, if you like, the remnants after the bushfires passed and the flames have died down. What we then see is a new kind of burnt landscape. So, except for this one here, which is different. But tell us a little bit about this one.
So this one's called How Good Is Coal? And it's like a burnt out bush landscape that we saw so much of, and at the moment we're seeing in California or whatever. It's all repeating itself. And then there's this strange little buggy kind of creature crawling through the landscape filled with useless 5-cent pieces. And this was, originally I was going to have Scott Morrison poking his head out, but I thought that was a bit too contrived. So, but yeah, it's just in reference to our obsession with fossil fuels and how actually useless they are. I mean, they might be making money for some people, but for the rest of us, it's just
and this one over here looks like it draws on your background really in working with fabric and costume.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, this one's called Corporate Highway, and these are the same logos that I put in that other piece over there. And they're the top 20 carbon polluting companies or corporations in the world. And, you know, I suppose with all of the pieces, I was kind of playing around with the perspective and stuff like that. So, you know, this one I really wanted it quite wonky and sort of
It's
rather
got a lot
disturbed.
of different textural elements in it, this one,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
and then you've got these strange sort of architectural gateway going through to the corporate highway.
Okay, so now we're on to a series of paintings here that, again, we're back into the charred landscape. So take us through these.
This one's called Crash Landing. Yeah, it's pretty much what it says it is.
So it's a metaphor for the entire Anthropocene,
Yeah, that's right. Again, there's, you know, it's in a bit of a swamp with some just endless pollution underneath, you know.
And here?
And this one is called New Year's Eve 1920, so our last...
1920 or...
19/20, like our last New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay, 2019 to 2020. Just so people don't think you're talking about 1920, so it was
That's right.
2019 to 2020.
Yeah. You know, and at the time there was horrific fires happening down on the south coast.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, in Sydney we're having fireworks and you know, the irony of that.
The juxtaposition.
Yeah. And this one was quite strange because, again, I was sort of using like different sort of architecture, and this was actually a house, an image of a modernist type house.
Okay.
But actually, when I finished it, all I can see is like a gas mask.
Yeah, so I was thinking it's like a gas mark in the face of all the smoke pollution that affected people,
So I found that really interesting because, you know, it started out as one thing, but then your subconscious comes through and it produces something else.
Okay.
So,
Okay, now our final two images we have here.
This one's called Abandoned City. So... yeah, this one is, out of everything, is kind of an enigma to me. You know, it's sort of like an abandoned setting or you know, place where people used to live. But it's no more.
Reminds me of Blade Runner.
Yes. And I think,
especially Blade Runner 2046.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And somebody said when I was hanging the exhibition, it's very Star Wars or something like that. And I think like all that sort of sci-fi imagery definitely influences my work.
Yeah. And finally this one?
This one is called Catalyst. And again, it was from these brutalist architecture images, but...
it's almost capturing the theme of a rocket taking off, and now having destroyed the Earth in the Anthropocene, we're thinking of conquering Mars, aren't we?
That's exactly it. But I think, you know, with this there's a fair bit of humour in it, you know.
The folly of human aspirations.
Yeah, and you know, the shape of this just looked like the Black Lives Matter sort of symbol to me.
Okay.
So I don't know, there's a few different things in this, but I kind of wanted a bit of humour and hope into this.
It definitely has that ironic humour to it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Martin. It's been wonderful to take you around these paintings, and I hope many people come here and enjoy it. So,
thank you so much.